Greetings tankers and welcome! In this video, we'll focus on how to succeed at beating the Mirny Halloween game mode, as well as how to defeat the relentless Immortal. This game will have 3 difficulty levels. The first is easy, and this is where you can spend most of your time learning the map, trying out the different tanks and the various builds with your teammates. One thing to note is that easy mode does not have the final boss battle phase. Medium difficulty is where you'll need to start learning how to work as a team, choosing effective consumables for your tank, considering your tank lineup choices carefully, as well as planning your Miriam collection path wisely at the start of the fight. And finally, there's hard difficulty. This is for those who love a challenge. Focus on coordination and, where possible, platoon up, picking your tanks and consumables very carefully, taking mostly medium or heavy tanks in your lineup. When it comes to consumables for your tanks, if you want to win, regardless of the difficulty, just take them, no matter the cost. The consumables I suggest for most amounts of situations are those that heal you and fix your modules, as well as those of your teammates as much as possible. The Vampiric Lifesteal ability is the one that suits the best as an offensive as well as a defensive ability, but works the best when you're surrounded by more enemies in close proximity. But there is an exception to this when using tanks like the Hornet, the Grenadier, and Legioferrata that have clips. Take the Born Ready ability. This gives you an instant reload, which is especially useful when dealing hedgehog waves or fast clearing of spawn points. For the first suggestions, it's best to collect as much Miriam as you can in the early phases to make your life a lot easier in Phase 2 onwards leading to the boss fight. In the early phases, it's very efficient to ram the smaller enemies with your heavy tanks while aiming for the engines and fuel tanks. Even a little ramming damage or fire damage can all save you valuable time. The turbocharger ability is useful for this as well, not just for going fast in a straight line. Like last year, only those who do damage or destroy the enemies will be able to pick up the Miriam that they drop. It's only visible for those people and no one else. When you're in Phase 2 and beyond, make sure you keep an eye on your mini-map, not only for where to go to get to the collector, but to monitor this bar very closely. The fuller it gets, the closer the Immortal is, and the more trouble you're in. It's best to just run away and keep your distance. You can't beat it, not yet at least. And now's a good time to bring you 2 interesting news. One of the new enemies you'll face in this mode, that's right, you're seeing this, and no, you're not hallucinating, will be alpha hedgehogs this year. Big, it's scary, and when you destroy them, they spawn lots of smaller hedgehogs, but not the friendly blue kind. When hedgehogs explode on impact, they deal not only ramming damage, but explosive damage too, which is fun. Try to take these down at range to keep your hit points and those of your teammates high. You'll see these enemies appear on your map when you trigger a spawn point. It's always important to look out on the mini-map for this little animation. You may not be able to see them yet, but I promise you they are there. They're going to be hedgehogs or hunters have spawned and will be making their way to your location soon. It's quite easy for you to be suddenly overwhelmed and lose valuable time, hit points, or even teammates. This is easy to avoid. Just stick together, move as one group, and can cover each other, healing those on low health and staying safe together. We'd say this is a win-win-win. If you're only a little Miriam short of your goal, you can check this on the left of your screen. Remember, a camp will also spawn when you get to the collector for the first time. The collector is this big purple thing seen here or on your minimap. It's always visible and you can see how much Miriam you need to get for the next phase. It's also important that all people must be in the collector zone with enough Miriam to trigger the next phase. Anyone outside of the collector area when the timer runs out will explode, losing all of the anomalies. Those are the bonuses to your tanks they have earned so far, as well as dropping all of the Miriam they've also collected so far. When waiting at the collector to move to the next phase, It's also a good idea to heal any of your low HP teammates, as your cooldowns will reset when you start the next phase. But all is not lost. If you do unfortunately die, you'll respawn in the next phase, if your team gets there, with 50% hit points, and your teammates will be able to heal you up. But still, it's not ideal though. Did you know a good tactic for victory in Mirny is to take as many heals as you can? Yeah, I know we've said this before, but it's important and we don't think we can say this often enough. Go on, be that tanker, be the amazing teammate we all wish for who has our back and heals us when we're praying for a miracle. At the beginning of every phase, have a plan, pick a route between your spawn and the collector. If the immortal does appear in that path, just pick a new route and just get there quickly. Okay, if you've worked as a team in the medium and hard difficulty mode, you'll have gotten through the first 3 phases. You will now arrive at the boss fight. This is where things get really interesting or fun, depending on if you've been holding a grudge from last year. Any Miriam you have at this phase will stop you from being set on fire when you're caught in the Immortal's red dome of doom. The boss is still invulnerable, except for a few shiny yellow weak spots, but even these can bounce if you shoot him at odd angles. And you see those special shells, the ones you've been collecting all the way through every phase, and not touch them? Now's the time to load them. Fire them at the boss's yellow weak spots and maximize the damage you do. This is where all your anomaly bonuses will come into play, not only for shooting the boss, but because he'll spawn enemies, a lot of them. At certain stages of his hit points, he will spawn waves of enemies. Focus on taking these out first and quickly. Cover your teammates and always be on the lookout for those hedgehogs. Use your area heals to keep everyone on low health alive, but keep your speed boost saved for emergencies, those being when the boss charges at you. Yes, he does that now, trying to ram you with the speed boost. Or when he calls in a bombardment, you'll only have a few seconds to get out of the area, and in slower tanks like the heavies, you have a very high chance of taking immense damage. This is another good moment to share that you should keep moving when possible and stay in groups for safety and try to avoid going off alone. The Immortal boss fight does have 2 phases. Meaning that if you do get destroyed during the first phase, you will respawn and have a chance to redeem yourself. Try to avoid taking too long getting past the first stage of the fight. The timer's still ticking and the Immortal has a lot of hit points. In the final fight, work as a team, coordinate abilities, and most of all, don't panic. Victory can be and will be yours. Teamwork makes the dream work. We suggest you join the Discord server and use Platoon Finder with voice channels to be coordinated. Watch the official streams where we'll provide more advice and guidance, as well as more details on the tips and tricks on how to beat the mode. Remember to subscribe for more videos and updates on the mode, as well as other topics for World of Tanks, and comment below with your favorite build and tank you'll use this year. That should be enough for today, Commander. Good luck in the mode, and we'll see you on the battlefield.